a typo. That is what that says. So Puffy, Diddy, he did it, whatever you want to call him, is now being accused of sexual assault now from men. And look, in hip hop, it's always been, if you listen to interviews and you kind of in the know, people have always talked about Diddy's parties. And in the last 10 years, people have now affiliated Diddy with playing on the other team. And, you know, you've heard stories about him wanting to take certain rappers shopping and things like that. But I remember even further back where Diddy was just known for throwing wild parties. You know what I mean? Like, he was known for throwing those infamous homecoming parties at Howard, his alumni in D.C., and everybody would talk about it, but no one went into detail. Now it's all starting to come together, and you're starting to see things, and it's like, because first when I seen this story last night, and one of my homeboys was like, "Yo, who you think it is?" I was like, "Shit, it could be anybody." You know what I mean? I was like, "Hell, it could have been, Farnsworth Bentley. I don't know." He was like, and I was like, "Yo," he said, "Is it him?" I was like, "Nah, I don't think so." I mean, that dude got out of Dodge quick. You haven't seen him in over 10 years. I mean, he changed his name. He took off the suits, the umbrellas, all of that. It ain't him. According to Diddy's lawyer, it's another person now. His name is Lil Rod. His government name is Rodney Jones. He's a producer. He was associated with Puffy. Diddy's lawyer says Lil Rod is nothing more than a liar who filed a $30 million lawsuit looking for an undeserved payday. His reckless name dropping about events is pure fiction and simply does not have anything transparent to any of these headlines that he's claiming Diddy is a part of. That's damage control. But yeah, this dude, Rodney Jones, is a former producer and videographer for Diddy. And he basically saw a lot of stuff go down. And his whole thing, he's got Stevie J caught up in this. And he's saying in detail, Jones claims, among other things, that they would grope his genitalia and touch his anus. Whoa, pause. Jones goes in to allege Diddy would parade around naked in front of him in the studio and throughout the house. Jones believes Diddy was trying to groom him into having sex. He says Diddy would downplay alleged assaults like as horseplay. Jones goes on to say Diddy forced him to watch a video of Stevie J, that's the producer, got famous on Love and Hip Hop, but he was a producer back in the 90s. He ran with Puffy and them. He used to do a lot of joints for like Mariah Carey and Mary and a bunch of people. Used to be with Eve. But he's saying that Diddy forced him to watch videos with Stevie J having sex with other guys. Then he goes on to says Jones included a screen grab of the video. This is a wild story. Now there's more allegations, and this is how Young Miami gets involved. One of the city girls. And since this story is broken, Twitter has become receipts, because if your old tweets from 10 years ago could come up. She got tweets from 2 and 3 years ago that people is still up, and people have dug up that incriminate herself as well by association. So he says he's a female cousin of Diddy's girlfriend, Young Miami. So this is how Jones got involved by being related to her, and says that Miami also sexually assaulted him and allegedly attempted to have sex with him in front of Diddy and members of the staff. And is also saying that Diddy brought prostitutes to the house in Miami on one occasion, and Jones was present, and he says that these girls was drugged and possibly raped. He's going on saying that Diddy was bringing bottles of tequila and drugging females. I mean, he's going all in. He's saying that it was several bottles of vodka. And remember, Diddy was sponsored by Ciroc and was working with Ciroc for many years. He was working for them. So he definitely had the bottles. Full detail story, though. And speaking of this, and then Cuban Gooding Jr. is involved in this also. Cuban Gooding Jr. randomly hanging out with Puff. Jones goes on and says Diddy directed Stevie J and his son. The son is involved to recruit prostitutes. And in Justin's case, he was instructed to find the underage girls to attend the party. So his son, who's like half his age, it was his job to get the young girls to come through, the young underage girls, convince them to come through. They're going to think it's going to be a whole bunch of young guys. And they come in and it's the old heads and they ready. And Cuba Gooding Jr. is caught up into this now. He says Jones also claims Diddy introduced him to Cuba Gooding Jr. on Diddy's yacht, and Cuba Gooding Jr. began touching, groping, and fondling Mr. Jones's legs, upper inner thighs, near his groin, and the small of his back near his buttocks and his shoulders. Yo, this is crazy. Just reading this stuff. This is some wild stuff, man. This stuff is going back to 2017. Oh, man. Then there's the allegation of a shooting that went on that he talks about, where he says Diddy and his son got into a heated argument at the LA studio. Jones says gunfire erupted and a man named G was hit and was bleeding from the stomach. They said Diddy basically paid the guy off and told him to lie and tell the cops that it was a drive-by. It's a lot of dirt that this guy's putting out here. And yeah, he's seeking $30 million in damages. I don't know if that's physical damages for what they did to him or if that's psychological, but yeah. And like I said, only Diddy's rep has said anything. But Cuba Gooding Jr. and Stevie J, they basically got, shots fired in this clip. They are now, and the son also, Justin is involved in this now. So I expect more people who were probably chilling with Puff years ago to eventually. Aaron Hall came out and said something about how him and Puff used to have orgies in the studio and random girls all over the place. It was a party scene. Like I say, growing up as a fan, you would hear about Puffy's parties, but no one went into detail. You didn't think it was nothing crazy like this. But like I say, men with money and power have done whatever they want since the dawn of time. And I'm not a corrupted individual, but if I had the money and power, I'd do whatever I want to. I just don't happen to be a sicko. You know what I mean? But it's like the Epsteins of the world. He also had an island, just like Young Miami was bragging about being on Diddy's island. But a lot of these guys with power and money that already effed up people, the money and power just takes it to another degree. It's just it just times it by 10. It's like Thanos when he got the rings. You know what I mean? It's like the ultimate bad guy is now got the Infinity Stone. You can't do nothing. And this guy, I mean, Epstein, Diddy, Weinstein, these people, they do this for decades. They get away with this stuff for decades before something happens. Diddy been doing this for a minute. And that's how you know it's probably like a graveyard of bodies out there that with his name on it. But yeah, I don't think anybody's surprised. But hearing the details, like Son was explaining it, I was like, oh man, like this is wild, man. I'm not trying to be insensitive to anybody who's dealt with that, but man, what are y'all gonna do? Surviving Diddy. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. I'm out.